Yes, the people, how are we doing? Welcome back to another episode of... Look how huge Joey D's forearm is, aka the thickening, aka let's get massive, aka shut the fuck up and get on with the video. So let's do it. On the 15th of October, I was 173.6 pounds and 13.9% body fat. On the 15th of November, I was 176.6 pounds and 14.5% body fat. On the 15th of December, I was 184 pounds and 16.3% body fat. So that was as far as we got with the last video, at least in terms of weigh-ins. And obviously since then, Christmas did occur and I exercised my right to be a fat fuck. And as such, I expected that when I jumped on the scales a few days ago on the 15th of January, I thought it was just going to tell me to get off, mate. I thought it was just going to give me warning signs and just say, what the fuck's going on here, Joe? However, it didn't. It said 183.2 pounds and 16% body fat. So that's 0.8 pounds less than the previous weigh-in a month before. So somehow it appeared that I actually managed to lose weight over Christmas. And I just do not know how that happened because I stuffed myself into oblivion, mate, to the point where I was just sat on the couch thinking, what's the helpline number for this? Like, who's going to get me out? Anyway, I thought, right, I said in my last video, you can't just go off one weight, really. It's just not sufficient. It's not sufficient data. So I weighed myself the next day, and I was 182.8 pounds, 16% body fat, so that's even lighter. And I weighed myself the next day, and I was 185.2 pounds, 16.5% body fat, so back up again. And I weighed myself the next day, which is the day I'm recording this, 184 pounds and 16.4% body fat. So that is pretty much almost exactly what it was on the 15th of December. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right one. I'm saying that we should just look at all of these and take a rough average. And I can say, all right, maybe I gained like 0.2 pounds of muscle or fat, or maybe I lost 0.2 pounds of fat or whatever. Roughly, I can look at it and say, well, I'm basically the same weight and body fat as I was a month ago. Now, this is contrary to how I actually feel based on how I look. I feel like I look bigger. Again, I will let you be the judge of that. Let's hop into physique updates. Okay, what we're looking at here is essentially day one versus present day. So there's around 3 months, well, exactly 3 months, and roughly 11 pounds difference between these two clips. So I've tried to freeze it in a few places where I think my poses are pretty similar, just so you can get as accurate of a comparison as possible. I don't think if you just looked at these clips without knowing that you would say, oh yeah, there's 11 pounds difference there, but I do think that I look a lot more full in this clip on the right, and I think the next couple of freeze frames make that pretty apparent. I do think that I've made definitely some gains, but again, you be the judge of that. You know, if you want to comment down below and tell me that I've made zero gains, then that's completely fine. Obviously I'll just block you straight up. I'm just kidding, I won't really. All criticism is welcome, so let me know what you think. Next up, I'm actually just going to show you a few freeze frames from last month versus this month, just so you can see as we go along. Now in the final episode I'll do them all next to each other, but just a few freeze frames here, and I think the difference is obviously a lot less apparent, if there even is any difference really. I mean, I do feel like I've made progress in the last month, but then again, you can't really argue with it, and so yeah, you be the judge, let me know. That's it. I think I broke 4,000 last night, like. Yeah. That's the first time I've tracked and actually been sure that I've gone over 4,000. I've probably gone over it before, but like I noticed just overnight and this morning, like on all last night, I was just fucking farting my head off, mate. Oh, it was so bad. I thought, this is literally a convenience. If I meet a bird, I'm gonna have to like take a day of going on lower calories before that, you know, like a buffer, to get them all out of me and that. You recording? I am recording, yeah. Oh, right, okay. I'm going to call it the cold hard truth about Vulcan. It is the cold hard truth, to be quite honest. It actually is so true, man. Alright, so the question is, if you stop gaining weight on a bulk, what do you do? So the first answer is firstly make sure that that is the actual case and that you have actually stopped gaining weight and that you haven't just weighed yourself like 3 days apart and jumped to that conclusion. If that is the case, then the only thing left is eat more. And so that is what I'm gonna have to do. And it's not particularly great news to me because I'm already hitting 4,000 plus calories every day. Like, I go back retrospectively now and again and just add up what I've eaten, and it's 4,000 without a shadow of a doubt or above. And the whole process of eating that many calories and fucking digesting them, etc., it's just becoming a chore. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, should life be like this, man? Should I be spending this long, like, you know, on the toilet, man? Should I be spending this much money on Cushell and arse wipes / baby wipes? Well, really the baby arse wipes. but you know, baby arse wipes. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes a fucking chore, man. And so I think this is part of the reason that I usually just abandon the bulk at this stage, because the amount of calories that I have to eat and the consistency that I have to keep up with my training just to stay at this weight, let alone gain any more, it's just not something that's particularly sustainable for me. I think naturally, once I get up to low 180s, 185, I don't think I've ever been this heavy before. I've never been 185 consistently before. It's just, I lose weight. Like, I take my foot off the gas for one day and I lose weight, and I think naturally I just tend towards a lower body weight. And I'm going traveling soon, so I'm going to be away for about 6 weeks at least, probably, and I fear that it is going to be difficult for me to keep weight on whilst I'm, you know, away and not in the same kind of a regimented routine that I'm in right now. And the thing is, a lot of my life, at least for the next few years, is going to be like that. And so usually I get to this point and I think the level of like training and eating that I have to maintain to keep this weight up, it's just not sustainable. And so that's when I'm usually like, fuck this, let's not bulk anymore. However, this time I'm just gonna fucking try, like, because, you know, whatever. And so I think one thing that I might do is actually track more often. Like, maybe I'll start tracking like twice a week or something. And another thing is, I think I will go higher fat and lower carb, because I just need to get the calories in at the end of the day, and I don't want to have to be eating obscene amounts of carbs because it's just going to fill me up and fucking bloat me, and then I'll have to do Instagram posts about bloating and, you know, and it's just going to be a complete anal nightmare, man.
It's a serious issue.
It is a serious issue.
You're trivialising bloating.
Yeah. And so, I don't know what I'm saying really. I'm just talking generally about my bulk. I'm not swerving it. That's not what this is. I'm carrying on. I'm just gonna, I think, go high fat, and maybe I'll come up with some actual macros by the end of this video. So anyway, I'm gonna hop into a leg workout, a leg workout. Yes, the people, how we doing? So I'm going to put the reps and sets on the screen here and just chat about general stuff. So if you downloaded the program in time from the first episode, you'll know it anyway, and if you didn't, be quicker next time. So since last clip, I decided on some macros, and I want to tell you how I got there. So let me rewind a little bit first. I'm actually recording this a couple of days after the LA Fit Expo, where I was lucky enough to meet a few of you guys, and I had some good conversations, and a couple of people said things to me along the lines of, I have trouble gaining weight, do you have any tips or advice on that? And whilst that's not something I've personally had trouble with in the past, it's very relevant to my current situation, because I am at this stage in the bulk where that's, you know, that is the bridge I now need to cross. So, as many of you know, I'm a fan of high carbs. I generally believe that you should cover your needs in terms of protein and fat, and then consume maximum possible carbs, essentially. And I've talked about why I think this is best in the past, so I'm not going to go into it here, but if you have questions, just put them in the comments and I will answer there. So the only issue with that is if you struggle with appetite, keeping carbs as high as possible isn't going to make it easy to get your calories in, mainly just due to the sheer volume of food that you're eating. So what I'm going to do, and what I told people that I spoke to at the expo to do, is basically hit protein, get carbs as high as I can comfortably, so basically without inconveniencing myself too much, and then bring fats up as high as they need to be to hit calories. So I would be taking carbs as high as possible, basically without putting myself in the position where I have to be, you know, sitting there over bowls of oats for, you know, too long and just like forcing shit down myself. So for me, that's going to leave me somewhere around 200 grams of protein, 490 grams of carbs, and 160 grams of fat. Admittedly, protein is a touch higher than it needs to be there, but considering carbs and fats are so high, generally a large proportion of that 200 grams of protein will be made up from trace amounts in foods that aren't typically what we would class as protein sources. So shit like 8 grams of protein in a bagel, for instance, and like mad stuff like that. So in terms of consuming actual protein from typical, what we would call protein sources like whey, egg whites, whatever, it won't require any conscious increase from me. That's probably roughly what I'm hitting anyway. So I'll still be aiming for 3 or 4 servings of 40 to 50 grams a day. Calories come to 4,200, which I think is a pretty round number, so that's nice. I think that's roughly what I've been eating anyways, but as I mentioned in the past, I'm only going back, adding up my calories retrospectively now and again, so it's not like I've accurately measured that on a consistent basis. So I want to start there and actually track probably every other day or something like that before I decide if I need to increase calories further. In terms of how I'm going to get those in, I'm honestly not sure. Avocado, coconut, and nuts are probably going to be my main fat sources. I think I'll do a full day of eating maybe in the next episode of the series. So anyway, that is it for bulk updates. Aside from that, the only thing to mention is that I'm going to change my training up a little bit for a couple of reasons. So keep an eye out for that in the next episode, because whatever I do change it to, I will make available for people to download as usual. So that's it for this episode. If you have any questions, obviously training related questions, just leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. I enjoy doing it, so by all means hit me up and I'll try as best as I can to help. And even if I don't have the answer, somebody else might. So sayonara till the next video. Ciao ciao, we out. Alright everyone, I just filmed a similar clip to this one, but I'm going to film another because I'm not sure what video it's going to go in. Basically, I'm going to give you a physique update in the gym with a ruthless pump, aka like a not fair test physique update, because I feel like that's when you can really tell that you've actually got massive. Do you know what I mean? That's the point in your bulk when you're like, wow, I'm getting huge here. It's like when you've got a pump, that's when you can see the most difference. And so as long as you know that it's not a fair test, that's fine, isn't it? As long as you know that it's not a fair comparison against like the ones where I'm just stood against the wall and stuff. Still just nice to show you like where I'm at in the gym instead of just me stood there first thing in the morning looking like a fucking zombie, like showing you me little fucking 12-year-old girl physique. Alright.
Delaney is my hero.